array ND. Now, what is this rand function? So rand function in Excel is also known as the random function, okay, in Excel. What does this do? This formula generates a random value which is greater than 0 but is lesser than 1, okay? And the distribution is even among these numbers if used on multiple cells, okay? The important thing to remember is that when we recalculate the formula, the result will change. So you see, okay, I'll explain you each and everything, whatever we speak here. Okay, so here we have put the formula for rand, okay, array ND, and whatever, it can produce a value between 1 and 0, okay, any value. So you see 0.99, 0.24, 0.29, okay, any value between 0 and 1 it will produce. So it's not below 0, because if below 0 it would indicate a negative value, so it will not do that. It will produce a value between 0 and 1. By the way, you can multiply the output with a minus to get a negative number, okay. Let's see in action how does this work. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I have some values of rand, okay, which is, for example, this is 0.99. It's some value, okay, so it has been, put to a small, it has been like rounded off to 2 digits, okay. So let's see how did we do this. First, understand how is a formula typed, okay. So if I show you how a formula is typed, so we take a cell, there's too much of clutter here, okay. So what I'm doing is I'm deleting sheets. Okay, all sheets together, you click and delete, best thing. Okay, so what I was saying is how do we put the formulas. Now, to type in a formula, either you be on the cell and you put equal to and you start typing the formula. For example, RND, rand, okay. And a function always has a starting and an ending bracket, okay. It can either have something within it or it can be empty as well, but a function will always be accompanied or ended by a starting and ending brackets, okay, round brackets. Sorry. Okay, so after you are done with the starting and ending bracket, what you can do is you can click on enter. Okay, so what we see is we get some value here. Now you can write a function here or you can also write a function here, okay. So you can go here and you can write rand and you get the same thing. Now both the places you can do, okay. You can also click on this fx. So this is the formula function, okay. This is the function dialog box. Type a brief description of what you want to do and then click go, okay. Or select the category of mostly recently used. So if I click on most recently used, just now I typed rand and previously I used this function, so all these are coming, okay. So I click on most recently used, I can click on rand, okay. I won't go for the other functions because that is still yet, I should tell you. So rand and okay. Right now this function takes no argument, that's what it's showing. Otherwise this dialog box would have asked us to put the arguments in it, and okay. Now if you see, for all these values, right, whenever there is a change in the sheet, the values changes. So you see, if I press 1 here, see the value changed. 2, again the value change, 3, again the values change. So basically whenever there is any change, whether you are putting a value, you are deleting a value, or anything you're deleting from the sheet, you are adding something to a sheet, anything you're doing, the value generated by rand will change. Okay, the value generated by rand will change. Now how to make sure that the value generated does not change? This is a hack which is very easy. You select everything. Okay, do a control C. Okay, by control C what we do is we copy the values. Okay, then what we do is we right click here and then we paste the values. Okay, we right click and then we paste the values. So by this what happens is, now if I already have some values generated, so if I now make a change, so if I write 4 here, it doesn't change. If I delete this, this won't change because the function is no more there. Till the function is there in the back, your values will change. But now the function has gone and we have pasted the values. Okay, we didn't paste the formulas. Hence, the values will not change. So if you want the values in the same place where the formulas were written, you do a control C and control V and paste those values in the same location, or you can do a control C control V and you can paste it basically in a different location. Okay, wherever you want, maybe in the same place or maybe a different place you can do. Okay, so this is how rand works. Now let's see some examples of rand. Okay, so I have here this numbers were pasted as values. Okay, so how you have these numbers, right? Just now we saw. Okay, and if you see, these are also very big. So if I want to reduce them, I will go to home and I'll decrease the decimals. You see, the decimal decreases. But still here it is actually the original value. What we see here is 2 decimals. Okay, next, if you want to show any decimal value which is with a point between 0 and 1, okay, so what will you do then? If you have to put some value between 0 and 100, some decimal value. Okay, so you multiply 100 with rand because this is nothing but it will give you some decimal values, and you multiply it and you'll get this number. Okay, so this is the formula and this will give this output. Okay, next, to get something between 5 and 10, so you can put a formula. So basically whatever you want. Okay, you want something between 1 and 10. Okay, you want between something 1 and 100. Okay, so between 1 and 10 means you multiply with 10. You 0 and 100 you multiply with 100. Okay, so if you want decimal, then you can use this rand and multiply it with whatever you want. Okay, or add it. So you want to add a random decimal value to maybe 50, so 100, maybe 50 plus rand. Okay, you can do that. Okay, here what we did is, instead of having rand as numbers, see these all are numbers, but here what we did is we put it as time. See, the numbers change because this was directly a function. See, the numbers change. So what we did is, after putting here rand formula, we went here and we changed the type to time, so it will keep on having a various time, as per as whenever there is a change in the sheet, it will have its own sweet time. Okay, so that is what rand is. Okay, rand generates a number which is between 0 and 1. Now we have something called as rand between. Now what this will do is, rand between is the Excel formula that can generate random numbers between two numbers. Okay, this is a volatile function and keeps changing when any change occurs in the worksheet. Okay, so whenever there is a change in the worksheet, like the previous one, it will change. But here, instead of having a number between 0 and 1, it can generate any number between the starting and the ending point you tell it. And also this is not a decimal number generator. This is a whole number generator. Okay, this will generate whole numbers. Let's see how this works. Okay, so now I have ran between. Okay, let me just write it here, is equal to ran between. Okay, one quick thing, whenever you are writing a function, okay, rand, so mine is rand between. Okay, so once I write rand, I have now now I'm left with three options only. Okay, so I can very easily use my arrows to go down rand between. Okay, press on tab. So once I press tab, now it will ask me the arguments. So if you remember, in rand we didn't have any arguments, the brackets were empty. But for rand between we do have arguments. Okay, so we need to give the bottom and the top argument for rand between. Okay, so what do we do for that? Let's, if I want something between 10 and 20, 10 and 20, and now I can drag. Okay, so it will just generate random numbers every time. Okay, so that is rand between. Okay, next, what I can also do is I can just write it here like this, and I can drag it also. Okay, so it will generate random numbers wherever you drag the function. Okay, now if I want to generate random numbers between 0 to 100, okay, and that should be a decimal number, so what do? I multiply rand between and rand. So rand between will give me some numbers between 0 and 100, and rand will give me some random decimal number. Okay, by this I can get a whole number as well as a decimal number, both in random. Okay, then rand between. Okay, now what we will see is how to generate random random letters. Okay, so there is something called as ASCII value. Okay, ASCII character. What is ASCII character? Now there is from 65 to 90. If you know, 60 ASCII character is American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Okay, ASCII code is American Standard Character for Information Interchange. Now what happens is, if you see in a keyboard right now, you see A, B, C, D, the keys, right? Each key has a value. Otherwise, how will computer know which key did you press? Because for computer, everything is a key, right? So each key has a value which denotes the key. So for example, if the computer gets a signal for 65, it will know that, okay, capital A has been pressed. Now, if the computer gets the signal of maybe 70, okay, so computer will know it has got the signal for capital A B C D E, right? So this is how computer will know. Again, for small letters also you have ASCIIs. Okay, so you have, for numbers you have ASCIIs. Okay, so you can Google search the ASCII value chart and you can get all the ASCII keys. Okay, right now we are dealing only with the capital letters. Okay, so if we see here, I want to generate a random ASCII value number. First, understand how do we translate a number to a letter. Okay, there is a function called as char. Whatever number you put inside it, it will generate its character value. So if I put here 70, it will generate F. Okay, now if I put 55, it was 7. Okay, for 40 it is a bracket. So you understand, for each key that we have, or each character that we show in the screen by typing something in the keyboard, that has a character value. Okay, now we know how to generate a character from a number. Now we also learned how to generate a random number, right? So what I can do is, inside char we need to put the number, right? So basically the number generating function should be inside char logically, because once I generate the number, that number will be taken by char to generate the letter, right? So first I need to generate the number, and for generating the number, it's ran between, with the bottom being 65 and top being 90. Okay, and I close the bracket. Okay, now I can just select it, and the random letters will be generated. Okay, so this is how we generate random letters using char and ran between. One more important thing that we learned from this exercise is we can loop one function inside another. So we had this ran between function which was put inside the char function. Okay, the output of the ran between, so ran between took the arguments of the low and the higher numbers. So the output of the ran between acted as an input for char. So instead of directly writing the number, we generated the number using ran between for char. Okay, now this is how we generate year, month and date. Okay, now first let's understand the date function. Okay, so whenever you want to generate a date, what we do, we can write a date like this. First the year 2023, month is maybe 0 May, this 8. Okay, so I generated 28 May 2023. Now I know that, okay, for date I need three arguments. First is the year, second is the month, and third is the date. Now just imagine I can very easily generate dates. How? I can just change this. I can put ran between, and I can put a year range from 2020, from maybe 2020 to 2023. I can put a month range is fixed because it's 1 to 12. Date range is fixed because it can be 1 to 31, right? And then I can just put this all together here inside the date function, and I can showcase it. Okay, let's see how did we do it. So instead of 2023, again we will generate the year. So I'll put ran between. Okay, lower will be 2020, higher will be 2023. Then instead of month, I'll put ran between, again 1 comma 12 because we have 12 months. And then for date, again ran between 1 comma 31. Now you see I generated a random date. Okay, so this is how you can generate random dates. Again you see here we um because, okay, so date needs three arguments for year, month and date. For each of year, month and date, we generated them randomly using ran between function instead of hard coding the value, right? We generated them randomly. So this is how you can loop in one function inside the other. Okay, so the next function is blank. Okay, now what is blank? IsBlank is an Excel function. Okay, it's a logical function that checks if a target cell is blank or not. Okay, it returns the output true if the cell is empty, which is either blank or false if the cell is not empty. Okay, it is also known as the referencing worksheet function and is grouped under the information function of Excel. So isBlank is nothing but it gives the information about a cell, right? So it is the information function. And what does isBlank exactly does? It says if a cell is blank or not. If a cell is blank, it will return true. It will, if the cell is not blank, it will return false. Okay. So let's see how this works. Okay, so I have some values here. And I want to check if the cells are blanks or not. Okay, so what do? I write is blank of this cell. The value is my this cell. And then what I can do is I can drag this formula. So whenever we drag a formula, right, the referencing changes. What do we mean by referencing? So right now the reference cell is A2. We are checking for A2 if it is blank or not. Now we dragged it down, now A2 will change to A3 because we are dragging it down. So 2 changes to 3, 3 changes to 4. If we had dragged it like this, it would have changed, right? Now A2 changes to B2 because we're dragging now vertically. So A2 changes to B2. Okay, now B2 changes to C2. Okay, but the 2 is now remaining constant because it's the same row, only the columns are changing, right? So this is how we can, keep on, changing the rows and the columns. Okay, by dragging, the referencing changes. Okay. Now these are the some real-time implementation of isBlank where we can see what isBlank is. But before going to this, we will see some other functions. Okay, some other things we will see that is important for us to know before going there, and that is if. Okay, what is if? If is a function in Excel that evaluates whether a given condition is met and returns a value depending on whether the result is true or false. It is a conditional function of Excel which returns the result based on the fulfillment or non-fulfillment of the given criteria. Okay. So for example, if the formula in Excel can be applied as follows. If, then first we check the condition. If this condition is true, then value B is executed. If this condition is false, then C is executed. So see, the if Excel condition returns value B if condition A is met, and returns value C if condition A is not met. Okay. It is often used to make logical interpretations which help in decision making. Okay. The if Excel condition accepts the following arguments, which is the logical test, which is the condition. If it is true, so it refers to the condition to be evaluated. The condition can be a value or a logical expression. Okay. Then value if true. So if value if true is this, if the value returned as a result when the condition is true, then value if false is value C here. So which is it is a value returned as a result when the condition is false. So now you see one example here. Okay, I'll explain more about this example in the later stage. Okay, because for this you need to know or as well. Okay. Okay, let's see some if conditions. Okay, now what we see here is we have some planets information given here, right? And we want to see if life exists in these planets or not. Okay, so when we have these planets here given, and is oxygen available? No. So if the oxygen is not available, then we should get life not possible. But if the oxygen is available, then we should write life not possible. Okay, so let's do this. How do we do? Is equal to if first the test. Okay, so for the test, see, Excel is very nice. Okay, very nice to us or the users. So see here, from here I'll get to know what are the inputs I need to put, what are the arguments I need to put in if condition. Okay, so we need to put 3 arguments here. So first is the logical test, second is value if true, third is value if false. So if you see that value if true and value if false are put in square brackets. So whenever an argument is put in square brackets, it would mean that the argument is optional, and it is, if you skip, at least you won't get an error. Okay, maybe you won't get the correct result, but it will result in an error. Okay, so how do I do this? So if the logical test is this, so if this oxygen is equal to no, then I would say life not possible, right? If it is no, if this condition evaluates to true, then life not possible. If it is yes, that means if this condition evaluates to false, which that would mean life possible. Okay, so I have written, so it gives me the correct answer, that because it's life is that there's no oxygen, so life is not possible. Let me just drag it down. So it's showing for me for yes, it's showing life possible. Okay, now this gives me a correct answer, this gives me a correct answer, this also gives me a correct answer. For yes, life not possible. But here for Venus, it's blank. Just imagine we don't know that oxygen is available or not. It's yet to be searched. It's yet to be found. Okay, that yes, Venus does not contain oxygen, or Venus contains oxygen. Okay, so whenever there is such kind of a scenario, you should always first affirm that life not possible, because you can't send anyone without knowing anything, right? You can't send a person astronaut to Venus by thinking, okay, I don't know oxygen is available or not, it might be available. You can't risk the life. So whenever you don't know about something, you should always say life not possible, ascertain the negative until you know the positive is confirmed. So how do I make a change in this? Okay, so basically what we should have done is, first we should check for yes, only if oxygen available, we for surety we know that okay, oxygen is available, then write life possible. Okay, otherwise write life not possible. Okay, now if I drag this, now you see life not possible being showing up here. So it evaluates this. If this is true, that is if this is true, if it's before yes, true, but here before is no, that means it is false. And because this is false, the second argument, or the third argument is executed. For this also it is no, right? And it should be yes ideally. So this is false. Then again this third argument is executed. Same for this. It is not yes. I know there is nothing, but it is not yes at least. Hence the second argument is executed. But for the fourth one, this matches. It is yes. So life possible. And the second condition gets executed. So this is how we deal with the if condition. Okay. Moving ahead for a leap. Okay. For leap years, okay, we'll do leap year later. Okay. Next thing is town B and town C. So if a driver moves left, then the destination will be town C. Okay, if it is right, then town B. Again, it's the same condition. I'm not typing it. If B2 is equal to left, then town C as town B. Okay, so here we don't have any scenario where it is a blank. Okay, so we can very easily write this condition itself. Even if you write B2 is equal to right, then for this, instead of town C, the first condition would have been town B, because B2 right is for town B. Okay, and if that is not true, then it could be town C. Okay, okay, now we will come back to this is blank example. Okay, so what we were checking here is, if the name is blank, then okay, if the last name is blank basically, then put it as incomplete name. Okay, otherwise put as complete name. So what do I do? See here, what I have done is B2, which is my last name, that is false. Okay, so is blank, it is false, it is false. Okay, why is, okay, it's A not B. Fine, this is blank is true, which means if it is true, it should be incomplete name. Okay, again this is true, see, it is false, so there's nothing here, so it is true. So what do I write here? Is equal to, if Now in logical test, previously what we did is we checked with an equal to sign. Okay, basically the output should be a true or false. Whatever you write here, the output should be true or false. So instead of writing any equal or any operator, we can write a function which gives us a true or false output. So is blank, which gives us a true or false output. I check this. Now if this is blank, then I'll write incomplete. Okay, otherwise I will write complete. Okay, and I enter. This gives me complete, and then these two are incomplete. Then again complete, because our criteria was last name should be filled. So complete, incomplete. Now if the last name is also not filled, then what we can do is, if you see this condition now, first what we checked is, if A2 is blank. So if A2 is blank, so that means the name is blank. That means give me incomplete name. But was A2 blank for this case? No, A2 was not blank. So we move on to the second part of the if condition, or the third argument. Okay. Now the third argument checks if B2 is blank. Is B2 blank in this case? No. Then we go to its false part of argument, which gives me the complete name value. Let's go to the next function. Okay, this also looks same, so we will have the same output. Let's go to this, Diana, and last name is space. Okay, so here what we do, we first check if A4 is blank or not. A4 is not blank. That means this condition evaluates to false, so we can't go into the second argument, we go into third argument. Now in the third argument also we have an if condition. This if condition checks if B4 is blank. Now we see, yeah, B4 is blank here. So now because B4 is blank, we type in incomplete name, and then we come out of the function. Now same goes for Mary also, but let's see for Rogers. Here the first name is missing. So we check, is A6 blank, which is the first name. Now we see, yes, A6 is blank. So we go to the second argument this time, and then we press in the complete name. And once we press in the complete name, it will not go into the third part of the argument. It will come out of the loop. Okay, it will come out of the loop if we do this. Okay, so this is how you can write, you can loop in multiple ifs, if inside if, and you can write a function. Okay, for example, this one, if it is empty, if is blank is true, then write is empty, otherwise write not empty. Okay, this is how you can do this. Whenever you are inside a function and you have mistakenly pressed some other value, so for example, instead of this I pressed this C9, which is not correct, I just pressed escape and I come out. Okay, this was a short tip for you. Okay, we move on to the next function. Okay, before that, in if, these are the operators that we have, which is equal to, greater than is equal to, less than is equal to, and not is equal to. Okay, so these are the operators that we have in if condition. Okay, so the next thing that we learn is VLOOKUP. Okay,